Hi there, music maker. I'm Griffin. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the chords to Over the Waterfall. This is one of my favorite old-time fiddle tunes to play. I used to kind of get my butt kicked with it out on the contest circuit, but that's not going to stop me from teaching it to you here today, all right, folks? I really love this tune because we get some of those kind of modal vibes out of this one. For those of you that have been around the channel a while, we've talked about this a bit. Even though D is kind of the key center of this tune, there's a C chord in it, which is actually borrowed from the key of G. So for a lot of this tune, we would use the G major scale to kind of play over it, even though we look at D as the tonal center. If that's a little too confusing for you, don't worry about it. You can just kind of look up modes and start kind of going down that rabbit hole on your own. There's plenty of great resources out there for it. Before we go ahead and dive into the lesson though, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button below and clicking the bell notification button, that's a great way to keep up with all the new content that we're releasing every week here on Mandolin Secrets. Also, if you're interested in a more enhanced learning experience with PDFs of tab and sheet music for all of these tunes, as well as backing tracks, play-along tracks, and other educational tools, check out the link below to the Mandolin Secrets Guitar Club. There you'll find all of the stuff I talked about and more, plus access to our community where you can ask questions to me, Magnus Zetterlund, as well as the rest of the Mandolin Secrets Guitar Club community. All right, my friend, let's go ahead and dive into learning the chords here. So we're going to do a quick review of what chords we need for this tune, and then I'm going to break down some of those bass runs that you heard me play in the demo footage here at the beginning of the video. So the first chord that we've got here today is D. We're in the key of D, so it makes sense we'd have that one, right? Index on the 2nd fret of G, ring on the 3rd fret of B, and middle on the 2nd fret of the high E string. And for our bass strum, we just do an open D, strum, open A, strum. Next we've got a C chord. That one's going to be ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. And then for our bass strum pattern, we're going to do a A string, strum, move that ring finger down to the 3rd fret of the G, or excuse me, low E onto a G note, hit that, and then strum. And then we've got a G chord. I'm using this one today, the 4-finger variant. Middle on the 3rd fret of low E, index on the 2nd fret of the A, ring on the 3rd fret of the B, and pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E. Bass strum is low E, strum, and then the D string, and strum. And the final chord we've got here today is an A chord. So you've got all of our fingers in the 2nd fret here, right? Middle is on the 2nd fret of D, pointer, index finger is on the 2nd fret of the G, and then ring finger is on the 2nd fret of the B string. And we hit our A, strum, then E, and strum. All right, now that we've got a handle on what chords we're actually going to use, let's talk about those bass runs that I was using. So if you look at the kind of chart, if you were to chart these chords out, right, or look at the PDF that we've got, you can see that we've got 6 bars of D, then 1 bar of C, 1 bar of G. That can be a little monotonous to play, and kind of, it's easy to get lost in those chord changes, right? So what I like to do is use bass runs to kind of help me and the rest of my bandmates, if I'm jamming with people, kind of hear that next chord change coming. So in bar 6 of this tune, we're actually only going to get half of a bass drum pattern on our D chord. It's going to be D, strum, and then I use beats 3 and 4 to walk up to that C chord, and I'm going to use the open A string and then the 2nd fret of the A string, and that leads real nice into that C chord. So kind of in tempo, it sounds a little like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's cool, after that, we actually only get half of a C chord bass drum pattern too. And for the last 2 beats of that bar of C, I walk down into my G chord. And I use the exact same notes that we use to walk into the C chord. It's kind of cool how it works that way, right? So the bar of C into the G sounds like this. All right, music maker, I think you've got enough to kind of make you dangerous and want to jump in on this tune now. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo footage here. If you need to practice those bass runs, don't hesitate to just pause the video and work on those for a sec before you dive into the full chords to this tune, okay? I'm going to cue the metronome up here at 100 beats per minute, and let's go ahead and dive in. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. All right, music maker, what did you think? Was 100 too fast for you or not fast enough? If it wasn't quite fast enough for you, though, I've got a new version here for you at 160 beats per minute. So buckle up and get those bass runs straightened out, and let's dive in, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, music maker, that's it for the chords to Over the Waterfall. I hope you've enjoyed kind of employing this bass strum pattern with a few key walking bass notes to make this one a little more interesting. If you do like those bass runs, leave us a comment below and let us know. I'm always interested to see what techniques people enjoy the most here on the channel so we can give you what you need and want. Okay, my friend, thanks so much for tuning into this one. We'll catch you in the next video.